Hey, what's up? It is Tuesday night already, coming up on 10 o'clock. I've caught the second wind over the last 4 or 5 hours. I've written $34,000 in estimates. I've been on the phone, sold some services, sold some parts, done a bunch of shop monkey organization, and have considered a lot about our workflow and process moving forward. So we're going to be making some changes and improvements in here. So out here today, the guys got a bunch of work done, particularly on the 325. Customer got back this morning and approved those differential bushings ×3. So all of those have been replaced and are installed and clocked properly, I hope. But the differential is not installed yet, and that's because there's still some issues. So we have those bad parking brake shoes. Right side's done. It's got new shoes and hardware in there and tightens up well. This side, even with the adjustment screw all the way out and the cable all the way tight inside the cabin at the handle, it is just not biting this rotor hard enough. You can still grab it with your hands and move it, which means it's not going to hold. So that side's parking brake cable is over here. We've got a new one coming tomorrow. Thankfully, everything on the 325 is like 8 cents. So we should see that tomorrow morning and we'll line it up. We're thinking that this cable, because the right side was so poorly adjusted, it was adjusted all the way out. It was never biting. So they were just cranking the handle and putting all the force through the one side, which we suspect has stretched out that cable. Compare them tomorrow, assuming the new one's shorter, that will go in. We'll reassemble the brakes. That will allow us to reinstall the drive shaft, well, the differential, then the drive shaft, then the exhaust. Then this thing can finally come off the lift and get a little bit of test driving before we let the customer know it's ready for pickup. Speaking of test driving and ready for pickup, we have an absolutely stunning 2013 E92 M3 in here that is done, is ready. Got a great detail today. It's looking awesome from Elite Finish a few weeks ago. They did all the paint correction and polishing and ceramic coating, but final items came in. We were just waiting on a couple little stragglers from Europe, particularly whatever the hell this is. And Ben, I've answered my own question. It does move, just you feel like you're gonna break it, and I know why the old one was broken now. It feels so fragile. I do not understand what this thing is even for. It's like some sort of little clip. Maybe it's a bag clip. It is so fragile and flimsy though. I mean, anything you clip on that's gonna break it. You almost break it just moving it. So it's fixed, don't touch it. To avoid a 10 p.m. text message, I will let him know tomorrow that this car is ready for pickup, and hopefully he's able to pick it up before the end of the week. It's almost midnight. I've been inside just kind of having dinner, reading some emails, episode All in the Family. Today was iPhone day, and I did watch that keynote today. It was a pretty short, very concise, well-made keynote, as the last many have been since COVID. But let's just take a minute and a half here and talk about the iPhone 15, 15 Pro. I don't care about the 15. 15 Pro, we got a titanium case. It's lighter. They've added an action button, or replaced the mute silence toggle with an action button that's programmable. I think that's great. I use the mute switch like 6 times a year on my phone, so I am happy to just pull down from the top right and do it that way. That'll be a much more useful button as an application shortcut or a flashlight shortcut, or probably a camera shortcut if we're honest. With the always on display, I noticed that you have to touch the display very deliberately to either swipe right or press hold the little bottom camera shortcut. So I find myself like tap, 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 wake up. Then once it's awake and realizing that they're not accidental taps, then it will finally open the camera. So if I can program a hard button to do that, that'll be fantastic. I don't know if it's a hard button or like a haptic button, but we'll see. I'm a little disappointed in the colors. It's like gray, white, black, and a really dark blue. I will likely end up with the dark blue. I liked the purple that I have right now in the 14 Pro, but it's not, it's really dark. It goes with like the elderberry case. It's very Canon. I wish they brought, what was it, the iPhone 14 regular or 13 regular had like this lilac medium purple that was just a beautiful shade of purple, and they didn't bring that to the Pro. The Pros are always a little more classed up, which takes the fun out of it. But we get camera upgrades, we get a CPU upgrade, a GPU upgrade, kind of the normal suspects. Nothing really revolutionary here. They did USB-C because they were forced to, not because they wanted to. Maybe that will help for charging. It allegedly hurts the waterproofness of the device, but it's still IP68 standard, I believe. Anyways, I'll get one. Why not? You know, I'm on the AT&T Next program. I have to pay the tax up front, and then the bill stays the same as long as I send in the old device that's not destroyed, which mine's not. There's a few scratches in the display, but otherwise it's in phenomenal shape. And the battery's still holding up very well. This phone, the 14 Pro, has been the best Apple battery I think I've ever had on an iPhone. This thing can still go a solid day of normal use and still have a quarter of the battery left over at the end of the day. I appreciate that because iPhones in the past, the last 3 or 4 months, it's a struggle, and I've got to charge it in the car, plug it in at work or something, or at school back in the day, and now it's like not an issue anymore. So I don't know if I've just had good device luck or if the batteries have finally progressed to that point. But without talking a bunch tonight, we saw an Apple Watch today, Series 2 Ultra, which I really want, but I don't know that I can justify the cost for that. I'm still running a Series 6 that is working fine. The battery life is fine. The display has a couple scratches in it. The case has a bunch of scratches in it now. It's the Atlantic or Pacific Blue. I forget which is which. The iPhone was one of those colors and the Apple Watch was the other in 2020, I believe, when the Series 6 came out. And it's working well. It does what I need it to do. Every time I see a Ultra in person somewhere, in a store, in a restaurant, friend has one, whatever, I look at that and think, damn, that is a really cool Apple Watch. It's got that big flat top display. It's like a 49 mil case. I think this is a 46 or a 44. Yeah, I think it's a 44. I always said when I got the Apple Watch, I would do a 2-year update instead of a 1-year update. And I'm at 3 and I'm debating going to 4. I don't know, time will tell. The release date for these new products, both the iPhone and the Apple Watch, I'm not in California. There's a wedding back in Ohio that we're going to in a few weeks. So anything that I do order, if I can deliver it to the place in Ohio, that would work. If not, it's gonna have to just show up here and I'll get it when I get back. And I'm like too OCD, too excited to know that my new iPhone is sitting in California and I'm out here in Ohio, but we'll make it work. Anyways, I gotta get to bed. Tomorrow's Wednesday, hump day. We'll talk then. Good night.